One man, one Murloc, one giant angry badger. This is Blue Please. It begins now.
Yes, indeed, folks. Welcome to the Kex Man is Terrible show here on WoW Radio with myself, Total Biscuit. The date today is the 1st of May, 2009. It is 8 p.m. in the British Isles. It is 3 p.m. EST. It is 2100 server time, and it is other times in other places. And you are listening to Blue Please here on WoW Radio. What have we got coming up for you in the show today? An absolute metric ton. So many things. Seriously, we've got tons of stuff to go through. We'll be talking about a scandal. Yes, we found a scandal. I like finding scandals. Scandals are great content. I call it Pegglegate, and we'll be talking about that a little bit later on in the show. Also, The Legacy will be coming on the show a little bit later on to talk about the end game, Algalol, Ulduar, and all manner of cool different things. Very cool interview coming up a little bit later on in the show. Also, why Blizzard should stop ruining their own goddamn raid instance. The nerfs. We are drowning in them. Coming up a little bit later on in the show. And of course, the chance for you to contribute. It's the illusion of choice! Shattering your illusions of choice here on the show. You can email themurloc@gmail.com. That is themurloc@gmail.com. With a proposed topic for the end of the show. And if it's good enough, I might choose it. With the illusion of choice. Oh yeah, so much stuff to get on with. I've got the mailbag coming up in just a second, but first, I have two plugs. Yes, two plugs, not one, but two. The first plug is this. You've been here in the last couple of weeks, I've been talking about a guy by the name of Nick Hugett, who does the Swag Show, which is a great video game, sort of video podcast that goes on YouTube. Well, him and a bunch of other independent reviewers have actually released a DVD, which seems to be pretty awesome, and it's called the Renegade Reviewers, and it's just out today. I think it's out today, or maybe in a couple of days, whatever. You can go to www.renegadereviewers.com/storepage.html. That's renegadereviewers.com/storepage.html to buy this DVD. And indeed, I'm going to do so. I'm going to buy this thing, because it looks pretty awesome. It's got a whole bunch of really cool things going on with it. And it's nice to see that kind of thing come out on DVD, and hopefully, it should be pretty cool. So yeah, I'm going to check that out. It's $9.99. And the other plug is, there's a charity auction going on. Now, this guy actually snubbed us, yeah? Bad man. Horrible man, forgetting to ask us to donate a prize. But there is a charity auction going on, and it's going on the site brigwyn.com. That's BRIGWYN.com. I believe it's the Hunter's Cabin or something like that website. I'm not too familiar with it. But it's for Child's Play, and they've got a bunch of prizes, including your opportunity to buy a guest slot on the WoW Insider Show. Maybe I should drop a couple of $100 on it and remind them how to do a radio show. Stop it, Total Biscuit. Bad Total Biscuit. Stop being a complete PR disaster. We know they're terrible. They just have to live with it. Right. What do we got? Well, I'll tell you what I've got. I have this.
Mail time.
That sounds like it's mail time. Here's the mail.
Oh, it never fails.
It makes me want to wag my tail. When it comes,
I want to wail.
It's mail time. It's the time when we look in the bag to see what's in the mail, and some of the stuff's cool, and some of it's not, and some of it's really long, like this one, and I'm going to try and paraphrase it. I could do the rest of the show like that, but I think it would be really annoying. This one actually comes from a Curse.com moderator by the name of Indelible. He also plays a level 77 priest on Bronzebeard EU called Aquavilla. I believe that's how you pronounce it. It's a bit weird. Anyway, it's a really long email about Curse, and I want to paraphrase it because it'll be a nice introduction to Pegglegate that we'll be talking about a little bit later on in the show. And he's basically saying, Total Biscuit, I'm a moderator of Curse. And he's basically talking in this email about the debate between with WoW Matrix and Curse that you might have heard a couple of weeks back on WoW Things Considered. And we'll be going more in depth into this later on in the show, but basically he's got a couple of things to say about the Curse website, and I think it needs, as a fellow fan site, it's important that we kind of put this out there, and he says, when Cursed launched, it was a simple add-on site that distributed add-ons to users through a simple web portal. Over the years, it has evolved and is now one of the premier MMO networks in the world. That's right, I said MMO networks. People seem to be under the deluded and ignorant opinion that Curse.com is just Curse.com and nothing more. I'm sure you're well aware of World of Raids, a site that has been at the heart of the raiding community since its inception. It is owned and operated by Curse. I'm also going to assume that most of your listeners have heard of and visited Arena Junkies, a site that has also been at the core of the arena scene, and is also, again, owned and maintained by Curse. Also WowDB and WowAce, all Curse owned and maintained. And he says, I'm not going to give detailed descriptions of each site that's in the Curse network, but I will list them in the hopes that it brings some more understanding to the table. I would like to point out that the following list outlines the main sites in the Curse network, and there are more sites upcoming. And it's a bunch of different sites here. And what he's trying to say basically boils down to this, and I'm paraphrasing this huge email. I'll post it on the forums later so you can have a good read of it. He's trying to say, well, Curse aren't just offering some add-ons for an MMO here. They happen to be maintaining some of the top community sites in gaming, ensuring that their continued survival in the current economic climate is assured. They are supporting the community of not just one MMO here, they're supporting the communities of a number of different games spanning millions of users. 90%, for want of pulling an entirely made-up statistic out of my arse, of the services Curse are offering are entirely free, except for the premium service that they're offering through the Curse client. I just want to point out this so people know just how much Curse are doing beyond add-ons. I'm sure any people will reassess their opinions of Curse if they knew just how much they are being provided at no cost to the users. And that's a nice introduction to what we'll be talking about a little bit later on. And I think it is important, certainly, to note that fan sites provide so much to this community at cost to themselves. I mean, good lord, huge amount of cost. I know that. I run a big site. A big site that's pretty bandwidth intensive, nowhere near as much as Curse. Good lord, I can't imagine. Well, I can imagine because I've got some nice statistics to share with you later in the show. But yeah, later we'll be talking about Curse versus WoW Matrix. Some of you may be aware that the WoW Matrix client was blocked by Curse, and there's been a bunch of drama surrounding that. We'll be talking about that a little bit later on in the show. Anyway, I've got some more mail to go, so let's have a quick look at this. Got one here from Tyler Noel Jones from Duskwood, US, and he says this: Hey, Total Biscuit, I was just curious as to your opinion on the Martin Fury issue that occurred. Basically, my opinion on the situation... Right, I've just got to explain this briefly before people actually, listen to this email, because maybe they don't know. Basically, what happened is, this guild got accidentally sent the Martin Fury weapon in the mail, which is a GM-only weapon that kills everything within a 30-yard radius, yeah? Obviously something that they were not supposed to have. Anyway, here we go. Basically, my opinion on the situation is that both parts were at fault. Both parties, even. And to permaban the guy seems Blizzard's way of trying to put the blame completely off of themselves. Yes, the guy who used this weapon did get permabanned. In truth, what the guy did was wrong, but what he did wasn't truly game-breaking and could easily have been fixed. Should he have been banned? Yes. Should he have been permabanned? No. In truth, the majority of the fault lies with Blizzard. They should have long ago removed this item from the game, or made it so that a mistake like this could not easily have occurred. There is zero reason for this item to exist at all anymore, as we all know GMs do not show up in-game anymore to help with anything that needs killing. What do you think? What would you have done if you gotten the item in the mail? Right. I completely side with Blizzard on this one for permabanning this guy, because he's basically exploiting, right? He's knowingly taken something which he blatantly should not have had. Yeah, it's obvious that he shouldn't have had this. It's like, oh, I accidentally got sent a GM-only weapon that kills everything within a 35-yard radius. What am I going to do with it? Well, the sensible thing would be to mail the GM and said, yeah, I have this. Help, what should I do with it? Not, oh, let's go one-shot everything in Ulduar with our guild and take all the achievements and the epics and the loot and then cry when we get permabanned. I mean, good lord, what the hell do you expect to happen? I can't figure this one out. People in this day and age seem to believe that if something is there and for the taking, they should just have it. Yeah? It's like, oh, it was there, it was their mistake, so I should exploit that. Yeah, this is not EVE Online. I'm sorry, EVE Online, a game that encourages and promotes scamming and all manner of different kinds of warfare and deception. This ain't it. Yeah? It's the same difference, right? I can scam anyone I like in-game. What will happen if I do that? If I scam someone in-game, I will get banned. And it doesn't matter if it was through their own ignorance. I will get banned for it, right? If you get sent this ridiculously powerful thing in the mail, why the heck do you go and do that? I mean, good lord. It's not like you just said, oh, I'll go try it on, like, Malygos or whatever, and then just leave it. No, we're going to one-shot everything in Ulduar and take all of the loot and get all of the achievements. It's like, if being able to kill everything within a 35-yard radius by clicking a button is not game-breaking, then I don't know what is. My good lord. I can't understand why anyone would go out of their way to do that. And the fact that WoW Insider decided to blink and interview these guys, I mean, good lord. What are you doing? Interviewing guys that get banned now? That's very easy. I'll go in-game, and I'll go report a bunch of people, get them banned, and then bring them onto the show. How's that? How's that for some publicity? Why give these people airtime? They're bloody morons. Obviously idiots. It's the same people that felt sympathy for the guys that found a way to get past the Cthulhu trash, and when they went and did it and got banned, they whined on the forums, and people are like, oh, well, they found a way to do it, they shouldn't get banned because it's in the game. There's a lot of things that are in the game that you're not supposed to do. That's why you have rules. And you should be using some common sense. Yeah, I know Cthulhu trash sucked, but it was no excuse to exploit the game. The same with this. I mean, this is even more obvious. I mean, there's not even a good reason to use this thing beyond, oh, let's go and screw around. Ugh. I can't figure it out. Honestly. I cannot figure it out at all. I don't know why this would happen. Yeah, so that's the issue in a nutshell for me. Got one more email before I go to the break, and it is from Cuba. A level 80 rogue on Tor and Mail EU, and he says this. I was wanting to know what you think about the further nerfs to Ulduar and Ebelon the Stonewatcher. I know you've already said the previous nerfs weren't necessary, but do you think that Blizzard are going too far now? You've applauded Blizzard for ensuring that the new VOA boss isn't a walkover, but now they've gone and nerfed the hit points from the ads, making it more than achievable with the average pug group. Are they crumbling underneath the pressure of wine? I know they've always nerfed raiding content in the past, a few weeks after release, but the content they are adjusting at the moment isn't bugged or impossible, and certainly nowhere near as difficult. Have we reached a time in WoW's life where we'll just have to get used to it, or is there hope for a real return of the times where only the elite guilds on each realm could clear an instance in the first few months? I'm gonna cover this in some detail a little bit later, but to be honest, it's mostly gonna be about Ulduar as opposed to Emelon. Right, VOA was never a good idea. Just bear this in mind, VOA was a terrible idea. And yes, there was some redemption in bringing in a boss that required you to do something that didn't involve face rolling. Unfortunately, yes, they have decided to nerf it. Have they caved under wine? I don't know. I don't know, because it's like Ghostcrawler claims that we don't change things on the basis of players whining on the forums. Well, to be honest, you're going to have to demonstrate that that's the case. Because just saying it, it's, you know, your actions and your words aren't matching up. You nerfed a completely killable boss. A boss that gives tier 8.5 and Furious Gladiators gear. Yeah? Top tier PvP gear. We're not just talking little bits, we're talking like the big bits. The chest piece, the shoulders. Is it the shoulders? I can't remember. The chest piece, it's the legs and something else, whatever. I just can't fathom why they do that. Nerfing it doesn't make any sense. It's already killable. Why do you think that people should be able to get that loot so easily? For God's sake, you gotta go kill Freya and stuff in Ulduar to get that kind of loot. And that's not easy, by any stretch. It's just totally unnecessary. Because it wasn't even a hard encounter to begin with. It's like, I'm sorry, if you don't have enough DPS to kill those ads, then you have no place wearing tier 8.5. At all. It's not that difficult. You just have to actually be on the ball. You know, and I'm sorry that a few people couldn't get their free tier 8.5 this week because the boss was too hard. But to be honest, I got zero sympathy for you. Really. And I can't understand why Blizzard would be doing stuff like this. Anyway, there's going to be a lot more on this and later on in the show when we talk about the Ulduar nerfs. After the break, we'll be discussing Pegglegate. The scandal with the UI add-on development policy, as well as numerous things involving the Curse Premium client and the iPhone cease and desist development. It's a bit crazy. All manner of crazy copyright stuff and terms of service infringement going down after the break here on WoW Radio. My name is Total Biscuit, and you're listening to Blue Please. I'll be right back after this, folks. Enjoy.